Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to another video of Be the Best DFS Daily Fantasy Sports. Today is Thursday, November 9th, 2017, and this will be my video for the upcoming Week 10 NFL slate. A quick recap on Week 9 for me. Top score on the main slate on DraftKings was 130.86, and the top score for me on FanDuel on the main slate was 115.76. I know my video last week, I talked about Deshaun Watson a lot, and right after that video, he injured his knee, so that video last week was kind of pointless. I ended up using lineups with Dak Prescott in the Dallas Cowboys, and I used Drew Brees in the Saints stack. With the Cowboys stack, I did good with Prescott and Elliott, and I have Dez Bryant, but I didn't have Terrence Williams and Cole Beasley. Terrence Williams 141 receiving yards and Beasley 2 touchdowns. So I needed that production out of Dez to really be successful. So I didn't really win nothing in Week 9. If I would have played cash games, that 115 would have hit on FanDuel, but I had only played GPPs. But, Week 9 is over with. Excited about this Week 10. Looking forward to it. And about to share just some of my thoughts and how I feel, the best way to be successful for this upcoming slate. So, you know what it is. I'm going to get it started off. Starting off with my top stack for Week 10. And my top stack for Week 10 is going to be the Pittsburgh Steelers going up against the Indianapolis Colts. I really like the Steelers in this spot. They have one of the highest implied totals on the slate. I looked at Roto Grinders earlier this morning. They had an implied total of 27 points. So that's like maybe the third or fourth highest total for the main slate. So I do like the Steelers. I like Ben Roethlisberger and Antonio Brown. Le'Veon Bell and Juju. I can't even remember the guy last. Juju Smith. So going for like a full Pittsburgh stack, that's like my top play for this week. And I think it's a lot of good reasons to like this stack as well. When you consider the matchup, the Colts, they're not very good defensively. They're 31st versus the pass, and they're 31st overall defensively ranked. The Steelers are favored by 10 in this game. So I think if they do get that big lead, that'll open up, more opportunities for them to hand the ball off to Le'Veon Bell. Another thing that I like about this matchup, as far as giving up receiving yards to no, I'm sorry, that's the wrong team. I was thinking of another stack. But Le'Veon Bell, I do like him, with the Steelers being favored. I think if they do get a lead, in the second half, especially the fourth quarter, he definitely can get, a lot of carries. The stat I was thinking about, the Colts, they allow 108 yards per game rushing to running backs. So that's a positive sign too. And we know Le'Veon Bell, he's a high volume back. Even with the bye week, having the bye week last week, he still leads the NFL in carries with 194. And he's third in the league with rushing yards with 760 and fourth in touchdowns. We know he's a dual threat back. So, I like Ben and Le'Veon. And Antonio Brown, he's arguably one of the top 2 receivers in the league. I mentioned the numbers earlier about the Colts being ranked 31st versus the pass. Antonio Brown is first in receiving yards, first in receptions, first in targets. He's number 1 in everything across the board at the wide receiver position. So I feel that he's a safe play, and he definitely has the high upside for ceilings as well. And I mentioned Juju Smith. He's solidified his role as like the number 2 receiver. In the last game they played on the 29th versus the Detroit Lions, he had 10 targets, 7 receptions for 193 yards. So if he somehow, is able to get involved in the game, I think he can be a very, very good play as well. So again, overall, this is my top stack for this week. It could be chalky, but a full Steelers stack. That's kind of what I'm going with right now. Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Juju on the beat, Juju Smith. Okay, I do want to just kind of talk about some other possible plays, but for right now, I'm just sticking with that. The main play at quarterback for me, Ben Roethlisberger. Other plays that I think are definitely in play. Jared Goff showed, how good of a quarterback he is on last week. He had a monster game last week, 28 fantasy points versus the New York Giants. Now he's at home versus the Houston Texans. Jared Goff at 8,200. I think he's in play. Goff, Gurley, Woods or Watkins, stacking up the Rams. That's another viable option on this week. Who else? I believe the Dallas in the game versus my Atlanta Falcons, I believe that's the highest total game on the slate as far as combined total between both teams. I think that game, Vegas got it at like 50 or 51 points, with the Falcons being favored by 2.5. With it being a competitive game, I guess you could look at both sides of the ball. Both teams on that side, Matt Ryan, he is the MVP. Haven't been playing like it this year, but at home where he does play well, Matt Ryan, I think he's in play. Him and Julio. Julio got to make up for that drop touchdown pass that he had, so he's in play. Dak Prescott, he's been doing his thing all year, so I think he's in play as well. Yeah, I'm just kind of looking through the player pool at the quarterbacks. I think those are the top plays, but for me right now, it's just, I do a limited number of lineups, 1, 2, maybe 3, but for right now, it's just Ben Roethlisberger and the Pittsburgh Steelers. One more quarterback that I wanted to mention. I was going to do this, but it would be kind of extreme. I wouldn't recommend this unless you have tons of lineups and you just, as an extreme GPP play. And that's going to be Eli Manning for 6,700, paired up with Ingram, the tight end. Going up against the 49ers at that low price, a lot of people not going to really think about Eli. That's something as a extreme GPP dart. And I was going to try it, but, I can't really get that risky. I need to, kind of play a little safer. So that's why I'm going with Ben Roethlisberger. But it's just a thought. I think Eli Manning going up against the 49ers, I think that could be a sneaky GPP play. So that's basically my thoughts on the quarterback position in stacks. Now I'm going to move on to each of the next positions. Running back position. Running back is so important. Again, I already mentioned I like Le'Veon Bell. I think he's in a great spot coming off the bye versus the Indianapolis Colts. Another running back that I like a lot is LaShawn McCoy for 8,300, going up versus the New Orleans Saints. He's at home. The game is a close spread. I think it's a 2 or 3 point spread. But one interesting statistic that I found was that the New Orleans Saints are giving up the most receiving yards to running backs per game. I believe it's like somewhere between 65 and 70 receiving yards per game to running back. And with McCoy being, a back that does get involved in the passing game at home, I really do like McCoy this week. A fair price. So he's probably another running back that I like. Gurley, we know he's good. He's at a premium price, but Gurley is in play at 9,600. I suggest, especially if you use the Los Angeles Rams in golf and you want to stack them up, then definitely Gurley. Leonard Fournette is in play, decent price, 8,700. The Chargers are 31st versus the rush, according to the FanDuel numbers. So Leonard Fournette, he's in play. Hey, let me cut on this light real quick. I know it's a little dark. just want to get the lighting right. But Fournette, he's in play. He had a week off, so I like him. Melvin Gordon's in play, because of the Jags rush defense. They're 27 versus the rush, and the price of 7,600. I think he's in play as well. And Ezekiel Elliott, I just don't know. I don't know. I might be kind of biased because I'm a Falcons fan. I don't want to pick him, but I don't even know if he's going to play. I don't know if he's going to be suspended or not. But I guess if you want to stack Dallas, Ezekiel Elliott's in play. I admit it's an emotional decision, but I don't think I'm going to use Ezekiel Elliott this week. I'll just use some of the other top price running backs. But overall, for the running back position, I feel that you don't want to mess around, get too cute, and try to go cheap. I think you have to target which premium price running backs you like and go with those guys. And like for me, again, my favorite is Le'Veon Bell, and I do like McCoy as my second favorite. But Fournette, Gurley, and Gordon, I think those guys are in play as well. Running back is very important to get right. So that's my thoughts on the running back position. Let's move on to this receiver position. Again, Antonio Brown. Love the matchup. Love the statistics. Number one in everything. Catches, receptions, targets. Going up against the Colts. Indoor stadium. So I do like Brown and Juju, like I mentioned at the opening of this video. Who else is in play? If you pay up, I pay up. I'm paying up for running back, so I had to use a lot of. I'm not really. I don't think you can really pay up for 2 wide receivers if you're paying up for running back. So again, like my top wide receiver is Brown, but Julio is in play. He's at a decent price of $8,000. If anyone saw the game, he dropped a wide open touchdown pass against the Panthers. So he's definitely going to be motivated to make up for that mishap, that mistake. So Julio at $8,000, especially if you stack the Falcons, he's in play. And like if I hit some money on NBA on one of these next couple of nights, like my bankroll is a little bigger, I'm definitely probably gonna have an additional lineup with the Falcons stack of Matt Ryan and Julio. So Julio, he's in play. And really, to be honest, I don't just want to just spit out names. If you're paying up for a receiver, I think Brown and Julio Jones are the top two to pay up for. Maybe some value plays possibly at receiver. It's this guy for Buffalo, Deontay Thompson, had a big Thursday night game. 10 targets, 81 receiving yards, 1 touchdown. He's 4,800. Only for value possibly. Terrence Williams, we saw what kind of game he had, 4,600. Had 141 yards receiving last week, 4,600 for value. I think he's in play. Marquise Goodwin for the San Francisco 49ers. I think he's 5,300 this week, going up against the Giants, who's not that great versus the pass. He's in play for value. See if any other value wide receivers that I want to mention. Give me a minute. I'm doing this. Let's see. I think those are the main receivers that caught my eye. So again, an overview for receivers for me. Paying up Julio, Antonio Brown. There are some value plays. Terrence Williams, Deontay Thompson, Marquise Goodwin, maybe Deshaun. Dang, what's his name? The guy for Tampa Bay, having a mental brain lapse. Deshaun Jackson, 6,300, because Mike Evans, he's suspended this week, so it might give a bump up to Jackson's usage. And mid-tier, one more guy, Robbie Anderson. Tampa Bay's been surprisingly bad versus the pass. So Robbie Anderson at 6,500 as a mid-tier play. I think he's in play too at wide receiver. But that's about it for me at wide receiver. In the last position, tight end position. I think the top tight end this week is Ingram. Well, yeah, Ingram for the Giants and Gronkowski, the top two price wide receivers. I think they're justifiably the top two price wide receivers. Denver, they don't defend the tight end position that well. I mean, I know about no-fly zone with Akeem Talib and whoever else they got in the secondary. But coming into last week, they was giving up. They were one of the worst at giving up receiving yards to the tight. Was it Denver? I'm not sure. But anyway, it's Gronkowski. The Patriots, they do have an implied total of like 25 or more. So with the possible injuries at the receiver position for the Patriots, I think Dorsett, Hogan, they got some guys that's kind of banged up. So, coming off a bye week, I do like Rob Gronkowski if you can afford him for 8,100. And then Evan Ingram, he's definitely Eli's top target. Over 10 targets in each of the last 2 weeks. San Francisco 49ers, 24th versus the pass. I do like Ingram. And again, if I did have the bankroll to make tons of lineups, man, Eli Manning and Evan Ingram, they definitely would be one of the stacks that I use. So I do like them. Now, my sneaky play, value play at tight end. Oh, there's one value play. James for Pittsburgh. He's a decent play. Let me go to this real quick. Sorry, guys. Jesse James for 4,700. I think he's a good play for value. But my favorite sneaky play for the tight end position this week is Austin Hooper for my Atlanta Falcons. I'm not just saying it because I'm a Falcons fan, but statistically speaking, coming into this week, the Dallas Cowboys are allowing the most receiving yards to tight ends on a per game basis. If I'm not mistaken, it's like 77 or somewhere between 75 and 80 receiving yards per game to the tight end. So at 4,900, especially if you're spending up at other positions, I really like Austin Hooper as a good GPP play, a good value play, and definitely if you stacking the Falcons, I think you can plug him in there with Julio Jones. So Austin Hooper for 4,900, that's one of my that's one of my favorite tight ends for this week as a sneaky GPP play. I went over all the skill positions. Not going to go over kicker or team defense. I think that's something where you just, again, have to kind of look at the projected totals, study the over-under odds and the point spreads, and make decisions based off of that. But to give a quick overview, my top stack for this week is the Pittsburgh Steelers with a full stack of them. Big Ben, Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Juju Smith. Juju on the beat Smith. So full stack. I mean, things could change with all this injury news that be coming out every day, but that's my top stack. Top running backs, again, Le'Veon Bell, and I like LaShawn McCoy a lot. I like LaShawn McCoy, but Gurley and Gordon and Fournette, they are also in nice spots, in my opinion. Receiver, I think you pay up for two. You can pay up for Antonio Brown or Julio Jones. On the value side, I think there's some guys, Deontay Thompson, Terrence Williams, Marquise Goodwin. I think there are three guys for value. Mid-tier, Deshaun Jackson and Robbie Anderson. I think they're two good mid-tier guys. Tight end position, again, the top two price ones are two of the top ones for this week. Gronkowski and Evan Ingram. I think they're in good spots, but a lot of times we pay down for tight ends. So I think James for the Pittsburgh is a good value play. And my sneaky play of the week again, Austin Hooper. I really, really do like Austin Hooper. And that's basically about it. That's my lineup strategy for this upcoming week 10. As always, I want to thank everyone who's taking the time out in your day, whatever you're doing, to listen to me talk about this NFL Daily Fantasy. I haven't been successful the last few weeks, but every week is a new week, a new opportunity to be great, a new opportunity to be the best, and that's what I'm going to try to do. Again, thank everyone for your support. Make sure y'all follow me on all social media. Search the hashtag BeTheBestDFS, and you'll find me on Facebook with the Facebook group, on Instagram, as well as Twitter, and of course this YouTube video. On Instagram, I'll be sharing some of my lineups. I've been sharing some NBA lineups this week, so make sure you follow on Instagram and Facebook. We do live broadcasts. I bring some of my friends on. We talk about NBA, NFL slates. So make sure you join the Facebook group. Again, hashtag BeTheBestDFS, and you'll find me on social media. But overall, I think that's about it. Again, thanks again for watching. If you like the video, please be sure to like and or subscribe to the video. And I truly do thank everyone who support me and believe in me. And as always, y'all know what I'm saying. The motto is for me, count the wins as blessings, losses teach lessons. In daily fantasy and from a life perspective. It's a grind in life, it's a grind in daily fantasy, but you count the wins as blessings, blessings from above, blessings from God, because I believe that everything that's good in life is a blessing from God, and when you come up short, try to learn from the lessons. Losses teach lessons. But I'm gonna start preaching everything, man. Good luck to everyone this week. Hope everyone's able to be successful, win that money, and I'll catch y'all next week for week 11. Be the best DFS. Bradford Best. I'm out. All right.